Please keep it going for Cynthia.
Hi. I've only ever done this one other time, and that time I came after a poop story too. I don't understand the karma, okay? Okay. I am not proud of this, but one time when a doctor innocently suggested to me that maybe I should cut back on the amount of coffee and chocolate that I ate, I lost my temper. And I said, when I ever get to have sex again, we can negotiate the coffee and the chocolate, but until then, no way. Okay? And I wasn't trying to be a smartass. I just really needed that doctor to try to be more human about why indulging in something as simple as coffee and chocolate might be important to me. I have done without money in my life, and I have done without love in my life. So there's no damn way I'm doing without the foods that I like. And I know that about myself because I have explored the limits of what I'm willing to give up. And I have been to a land called No Bread, and I wanted out of there as fast as I could go. About 10 years ago, I had an autoimmune issue that had completely destroyed my white count, and it was pretty serious. I was in the hospital, and when I was discharged, my white count still wasn't up, so I was doing drug therapy to raise my white cell count because those are the cells that help you fight infection, and the drugs weren't working. So I embarked on a path of alternative healing to complement the Western medicine, and I did some things that for me are kind of funky, like I tried acupuncture and it made me giggle, and I tried something called Bach flower remedies, which you should really not talk about on a first date. But the one really brilliant thing I did was consult a nutritionist, and she took one look in my eyes and she declared me a physical train wreck. She said every single system in my body was depleted, and that the reason I couldn't heal was because there was nothing in there with which you could build new cells. And so she said it would take a long time. It wasn't going to be a quick fix, but if I followed her nutritional guidelines, she really did believe I could begin to heal at a cellular level. So the first thing she prescribed was chlorophyll, which she said was the beginning of life in a cell. And it was powdered, and you added water to it, and you whipped it up, and then it looked like pond scum, and it smelled and it tasted like the hay that you would give to animals. But I drank it. I drank it religiously, much to the amusement of my friends who like to say I did grass in a glass. Much more challenging for me personally was the stuff she took away, the food toxins, and I know you know what they are. They're the whites. The white sugar, the white flour, which is pasta and bread, white potatoes, white rice, and dairy. So that's milk, moo cow cheese, and ice cream. Basically everything I loved and everything that I was frankly addicted to. So even though my head was in the game and I really did want to get better, my body was going through withdrawal, and emotionally I was a wreck. I would come home from work and stand in my kitchen and feel like I was starving, and I would open the refrigerator and I would open the cupboard and I couldn't fathom what I could possibly eat that would satisfy my hunger. I was allowed to have as many fruits and vegetables as I wanted, but that wasn't my thing, and so I was really having trouble transitioning. I knew there were alternatives for the things that I liked. They're more accessible now than they used to be, but I knew they were there. She had educated me, so I knew there was stuff like almond milk. And I knew if I wanted to fork out $25 for a loaf of bread, I could have spelt, one of the ancient grains that I was allowed to have. There are all kinds of pasta alternatives, but I don't know if you've ever eaten brown rice pasta. I don't know if you've ever tasted the paste that they gave you in kindergarten, but it's the same thing. So the alternatives were not working for me, and the only thing that kept me on track, honestly, was desperation. I was scared. I was actually scared for my health. So I whimpered a lot, and I stuck to it, and believe it or not, my white count went up. My white count went up, and my dress sizes went down. I lost a lot of weight. I looked good, I felt good, and I was really unhappy and trying to put on a good face about all of this. But the longer it went on, the more I started treating the nutritionist like sort of a food priest. And I would just be confessing about what I had eaten. And she'd say, that's not my job, that's not my job. And she finally admitted that I wasn't ready to make this a life choice. And no shame, but the minute I was stable, went off the diet. And the heavens opened up, and my brother gave me a gift to France. And I went off the diet in the land of bread and cheese, okay? And I ate crepes off the cart, and I took bags of bliss out of patisseries, and I stood in the gardens of Versailles deciphering the ice cream flavors because I didn't know what I was ordering, and then I realized I like every ice cream, it didn't matter. And I had a blast, okay? I know that somewhere there's a middle road between eating healthfully and feeling deprived, and being happy, but eating and overindulging. I know there's a middle road. I do. And I hope that I'm on earth long enough to find it, because I really genuinely would like to find it. But until then, when I order a hamburger, it's going to have a bun on it.